going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about the 5 things that you can do right now to price your home to sell super fast in this crazy real estate market that we're in. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So before we talk about what you can do to help price your home to sell super fast, we first need to talk about why it is important to price your home correctly in this market, because you can underprice and you can overprice your home, and doing so will affect how it sells and how quickly it sells. If we look at this chart, this is kind of why, and a breakdown of why where you price your home can affect it. So if we look at this chart, it says percent of buyers who will view your property. On the left hand side, it shows the asking price percentage in relationship to what a fair market value for your house would be. And on the right hand side, it shows the percentage of actual prospective buyers who would be looking at your home. So you can see that if you're priced even just 10% above what your market value on your home is going to be, only 2% of all prospective buyers are even going to be looking at your home. You're missing out on 98% of the buyers available in your market. And so a large percentage of that you're missing out on. And you don't want to overprice too much, or you have a problem like this take place and your home just sits on the market for a long period of time. Even if you're just 5% above, you can see you're still only reaching about 30% of all prospective buyers in today's market. Now, if we look at fair market value, you're still reaching about 60% of all buyers. If you actually go under price, you're reaching 80%, and then 10% under, about 92%. And we're going to talk about some things you can do if you want to underprice your property, but not underprice too much to where you lose value, so you can get in maybe even a bidding war for people in your house, so it can actually go above what the fair market value would have been. So tip number 1, let's go ahead and dive into what you can do to get your home sold fast. Number 1, shouldn't be a surprise, talk to a real estate agent or hire one. Even if you don't hire, you can still speak to one and they can run a CMA for you, so you can kind of figure out exactly where your home should be priced. If you're doing it yourself, it's going to be a little bit more of a complicated process. That's why tip number 1 is to reach out to an agent so they can handle that for you. It obviously sounds simple, but the value of the real estate agent that they bring in pricing your home is immeasurable. What they'll do is they'll pull a CMA for you. It's a comparative market analysis. Basically, what it'll do is pull similar sold homes just like yours within a 5 to 10 mile radius, maybe even closer. See what those homes are selling for, and then break it down in relation to your home's condition, the square footage, things like that, and then spit out a price that would give you for the fair market value of your home. So tip number 1, talk to a real estate agent. Tip number 2, pull comparable listings. So this is going to be if you're doing this yourself. From here on out, this is what you're going to be doing. So the number 1 thing you need to do first is pull comparable listings. It's the first thing an agent would do, so it's what you need to do as well. So first, look at every similar home that has been listed in the same neighborhood as your property in the last 6 months. You don't want to go too terribly long, because you want to ideally get as close to the appraisal value of your home after it has sold. And the way that you're going to do that first is you're going to look at homes that have been sold in your same neighborhood. These homes should be limited to 1/4 up to 1/2 of a mile away, unless there's only a very small amount of comps in the area that you're in. So when I say 5 to 10 miles earlier, we're in South Mississippi. There's a lot of rural homes here with acreage. Whenever you're trying to pull comps for homes like that, you're not going to be able to find comps in your neighborhood because you don't have a neighborhood. You're going to have to search a little bit wider and find homes that are similar to yours in acreage and square footage to be able to see what they are selling for and what they're asking right now. Tip number 3, don't overlook the details. So this is going to have to do with when you're finding your comparables, don't overlook the small details that you think may not be important now. So when we say find homes that are as close to your home as possible, that's exactly what appraisers are going to do. But you also need to compare similar square footage to the house as yours. You really only need to go about 10% variance up or down. So if you have a 1,000 square foot home, you really only need to be looking at comparable homes that are 900 to 1100 square feet. You go any higher or lower than that, then they're not really true comps for your specific house because it's not a similar home. The next thing you need to do is compare similar aged homes. So this one is a little bit trickier, especially for those rural areas. But if you can find a home, let's say yours was built in the year 2000, if you can find a home in 1995 to 2005, that's going to be kind of the sweet spot in what you're looking for. The time in which homes were built and how old they are can greatly affect price, obviously depending on the materials that are used, if it's been updated and things like that. So you want to be able to find homes similar to the age of your home when you're doing comparables. The next thing, this is so underlooked and I cannot recommend this to you guys enough. If you are selling your house, whether you're buying or you're selling and moving out of state, not in this market, tour active listings. You need to go to some open houses, maybe even, if you're currently shopping for a home in this market, start looking at properties early before you list your home. Because what this is going to do is it's going to tell you exactly what buyers want to see when they visit a prospective home. If you're going to list your home, you want to go view homes that are staged well and they look good, so that it makes it easier for you to present that to a buyer when you're ready to sell. You want to think in terms of, if I was going to buy a house, how would I want that house set up and look for that specific property? And by you going and touring active listings, you can get idea and feedback from what other people are positively doing that you may not even know about before you list yours. So go ahead and tour some active homes. Tip number 4, learn from other seller mistakes. The best advice that I've ever gotten in life is learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to make your own mistakes. Yes, the best lessons in life are from mistakes we make, but if you can learn those from other sellers, you're already ahead of the game. You won't have to go through as much hardship as maybe they did. So review expired listings from your area to gain insights on pricing your specific home to sell. You can sometimes compare the original list prices to what it sold for, or if it never actually sold, and kind of see what went on there. If it was overpriced in that 5 to 10% range like we saw in the graph earlier, maybe that's why it didn't sell. Maybe you can do a little bit digging, or since this is such a tight-knit area down here in South Mississippi, you have connections or know somebody else on why that specific house didn't sell. So find that out and learn from their mistakes and how you can get your home sold faster and not end up on that terrible expired list. And finally, tip number 5, you need to price for online search ranges. This is so important. When people are searching for a home on Zillow, Realtor, our website, wherever it may be, the number one factor they're considering is price. So let's say that you price a home at $305,000, but their budget is $300,000. Well, they're going to put in $300,000, and just because you listed $5,000 over, your home is now eliminated from their search. That's where that big graph comes in really big help, by being able to see if you're that 5-10% over fair market value, you completely missing a large percentage of your buyers just because you've outpriced yourself. So price for online search engines and really focus on getting and pricing at fair market value or right under, so that you can get and maybe get your buyers in one of those bidding wars to get over what you would originally asked for your home. So these are the 5 tips. We'll go through them quick again. Number 1, hire an agent if you don't have one yet, or at least talk to one so they can pull a CMA for you. Go ahead and pull comps yourself if you're not going to work with an agent. And the things you want to focus on when you're doing that, or you don't want to overlook details. Look at close square footage, similar aged homes, and then also tour active listings. Learn from other seller mistakes so you don't have to make the mistakes yourself. And last but not least, price for online search ranges. That is how you can sell your home fast in today's market. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys on another video.